Hey guys, welcome back to NextGenKarate. We're here with episode 13. My name is Max.
It's Lauren.
My name is Rod.
Next weekend, me and Lauren are really looking forward to, along with many other athletes, we're going to be going to Richmond to compete in the BC Open, a very big tournament that would contribute to a very big part of our karate training.
Yeah,
the BC team.
So that's the major Grand Prix points. So first place earns you 50 points, second place 25, and so on and so on. You get two chances basically to make the team. The first one's the BC Open. The second one is going to be team selection.
Yeah.
So we're 1 week away, a little less actually, because it's 6 days away. By the time this airs, we'll probably be driving down. Down to the Open. Do you guys feeling excited?
Yeah, really.
I am excited and nervous, and both at the same time. I am mixed nervous.
I feel the same.
Yeah,
feel the same.
But it'll be a good time. I mean, all you guys got to go out there is do your thing, and the results are the results, right? Just go out and have fun. You're at the start of your serious competition career.
We have many years to come.
Oh gosh, yeah. It all doesn't come down to just one moment or anything like that. No, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Richmond Olympic Oval, it's a sweet venue. That place is
It's
huge.
big,
So they're going to have 6 rings out there for the Open.
It's a super nice place,
Yeah,
it's
beautiful,
nice.
Beautiful.
Having competed there for a few times, we should know the feeling of it.
Totally.
But this is a whole new competition, so we got to get used to the competition, not the feeling of the place.
Yeah. It's a regular field, regular tournament. We've been there enough. We've been pretty fortunate to host there. So we're all driving out on Friday after school, likely I'm sure for you guys, and we'll get a really good night's sleep and compete Saturday, and then the Sunday there's a team training. The schedule just got announced for that, so that's I think 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 for the training day on the day after. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys get to make a whole bunch of new friends of people in your division and on trying out for the team.
I might not have anyone in my Kumite division.
You might not, no, but you'll have some fights regardless. So just to give you some experience.
But I weighed myself yesterday and I was like 34.5.
Oh,
so
you're
I'm
golden.
Under, so I'm perfect now.
Yeah, you're golden.
Because I was a little worried before because I was like 35.9-ish.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay, I think you've hit the lowest. I think that's kind of a place to stop.
Well, I haven't even really been like dieting or doing anything different. I've just been
and that's
doing
perfect.
Normal stuff.
Yeah, because that's your natural weight, so that's perfect.
And I'm kind of up there. I've got some fights in there because, I'm a bit heavier than the average 12-year-old, I'd say.
Yeah, Gabriel Wilkinson is in your division, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a tough one.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter.
And, you placed third. I think there was probably about a dozen or so athletes at provincials.
That's good, though.
In the elite, and Max placed third. And the top 2 were from Sensei Sandeep's club at Burnaby Karate Academy, who we interviewed earlier. So they're a really strong club. But you're going to do your best to knock one of those out because you need to be in the top 2 positions to make the BC team.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll just go down there. We'll have some fun and do what we all love and get to talk to some old friends. So that's 1 week away for these guys. But anyway, today we're going to be hitting episode 13 with a great guest. So thanks for joining us. Let's start the show. Episode 13, hitting you now. We're with Kalan Anglos. He is, just to give everybody a little bit of background on him, he's a certified combat sports strength and conditioning coach. He also designed and is in charge of tracking all those numbers and identifying what to do with numbers from the brand new Karate BC fitness tests, which we talked about in episode 1 and 2. He also is a karate instructor and a personal trainer and has his hands full. He also co-hosts Karate 360, the podcast on Google Play and iTunes. And he is joining us today. Thanks, Kalan, for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thank you for having me. When you kind of mention all that stuff, everybody always tells me, you're so busy, you got so much going on, and I'm just kind of going. But when you kind of mention all that stuff, it's like, wow, there's a lot there.
You keep yourself busy, that's for sure.
Well, you gotta.
Yeah, so going back a bit, I know you used to train with karate. What got you started with that originally? How did you get into it?
Well, I still train karate as well, quite a bit. But basically, I started out when I was about 6 years old. I had an older brother who was in karate. So we had just moved to Vancouver Island, and my older brother, Sean, started doing karate. And I was just kind of the little brother that was looking up to him and kind of watching him do all that fun stuff. And I said, hey, I want to try that. So They had an age limit. It's kind of funny. They had an age limit of you had to be 7 years old to train at this particular club.
Right.
But because my brother was there and my dad was kind of a little bit pushy on that, he said, no, we got to get him in. So I think when I was 6 years old, I started training karate and haven't stopped since.
And then, so you trained from 6. You were a competitor. You competed on the BC team.
Yeah.
When was your heyday for competition?
Well, my first national championships was in 2006, so I would have been 16 years old then.
Right.
Probably my heyday, I guess you could say, would be when I was about 18 to 19. That's when I first started kind of medaling at the national level.
Cool.
Yeah, and then actually after that, I did take a couple of years off and kind of got right back at it. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, these two, Max and Lauren, they're both trying out for the BC team for the first time this year. They're both 12 years old, going for that 12-13 division. So it's pretty exciting times, but I think they're learning a lot, getting to talk to people like yourself who've kind of been through that system.
Sure.
So any advice for them or athletes who are brand new to the scene coming on there? I'm sure everybody is nervous. Everybody is a little anxious. They're not really sure what to expect, but I mean, all you guys got to do is hope and go out and do your best.
It's a little nerve-wracking, but once you get out there and kind of get into that tournament and try to get into the flow of it, you kind of get used to it a bit.
Yeah.
Any advice for these guys coming up?
Yeah, totally. We have a few people here in Victoria as well that are kind of going for their first national championship, their first BC team tryouts. Yeah. Basically, what we tell them is just, keep going and take it all in. So all this stuff is going to be new to you. You might not know what to expect. You might not know where to be or what to do exactly, but just take it all in and remember it, because the next time you go and the next time you're in this position, it's just going to be that much more easier. It's going to be more familiar, and you're just going to be able to handle it so much better. And one thing that we try and get our athletes to do quite a bit is whenever you're kind of experiencing that stuff for the first time, is maybe write that stuff down, have a little training log. And if you write that stuff down, then you can actually go back next year or the year after or whenever, and you can kind of say, oh yeah, that's how I felt when I was here. This is nothing new. I've been here before.
So part of the experience for these guys, and also everybody on the BC team, is mandatory fitness testing as part of the qualification process. And I'm sure some people didn't mind because they're brand new, and some people were like, what the heck is this that I have to do now? I've never had to do this before. So maybe you could just explain to everybody a little bit what it's about, why they have to do it, and what you're going to be doing with all the numbers.
Yeah, sure. So basically what happened is we had Via Sport, which here in BC is kind of one of the governing bodies that looks at the sport of karate. And they said basically what we needed some kind of standardized fitness testing. So myself with a karate background, as well as a kinesiology background, I go to school here at UVic, getting my master's in kinesiology. We kind of put together the standardized fitness test for karate athletes. And basically what we want to do with this is we want to get a good idea of what makes a national level athlete, karate athlete, what makes a provincial level athlete, what makes a regional level athlete, so that we can look at certain athletes and say, okay, maybe you're here in your fitness standards, but if you look, a national level athlete is up here. So we know you need to get better, lower body power or flexibility or whatever it is. So it's kind of been a long process, and it's still kind of ongoing as well, and it's going to continue to kind of be ongoing, where we're just kind of trying to highlight those areas that are good for karate performance.
Right. So you guys both went through the fitness testing when Coach Kalan was here, and it was actually done at this dojo too. What did you guys think about it? What was hard? What was easy? Anything unexpected?
One thing I found about myself, the height that I could reach when I was jumping was a lot higher than I ever expected myself to be able to do. So
okay,
that was something that I really didn't see coming.
So explain that. How is that measured? How is that tested?
So you reach your hand straight up into the air and stand normally, and they set the bar at the tip of your fingers, and then you just stand there and jump straight up and try and reach as high as you can. And there's multiple little bars, and whichever bar you hit, that's like the score that they take from it.
Okay, so Kalan, is that like a standardized test for I guess lower body explosivity, I suppose?
Lower body power, yeah. That's kind of the gold standard field test of lower body power, is the vertical jump. They do it in kind of all different professional sports. And yeah, Max, I remember you were. It was quite surprising because you're not necessarily a tall guy, but
I could say
you sure got some hops for sure. You got up there. It was really good.
Yeah.
You should quit karate, so join basketball or something.
No.
I do play basketball on my free time.
A 5-foot guy dunking on everybody.
Yeah. No, but what we're trying to simulate there is just that ability to be able to explode from your legs and explode in a speed and as powerful as you can type thing. So yeah.
Right. What about you, Lauren? What exercise was maybe the hardest for you?
Hardest, probably the beep test.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
It's the beep test. No one likes the beep test.
Yeah.
It's a hard physical thing to do. It really gets you gassed and tired and.
If I remember right, Kalan, maybe you can confirm or deny, but in your results, looking at all of BC, all the athletes that tried out for the BC team, that was the test that you think everybody has to improve on.
Yeah. I think we were a little bit surprised in the results of the beep test, especially, and I think there are a few reasons for it. I think it was new to some people. Some people didn't expect it. You got to the team training and we got to do the beep test. Okay. Right. And a lot of people knew what it was from school or whatever, so they were nervous and that kind of thing. But yeah, we kind of struggled a little bit if we were going to use the beep test, if we were going to use a different aerobic capacity test, or what we were going to use with that. But we settled on the beep test because it is also one of the gold standard field tests for aerobic capacity. And basically, we wanted something that would not only push the athletes, but that we could also see them physically push through those kind of physical barriers that come through, which mimics what happens in a karate tournament, right? Especially as you get into the later rounds, you get tired and you have to push through. So we wanted to kind of something that would mimic that.
Yeah, I think we did a test run through before you guys came out and did the standardized testing, and it wasn't a beep test at that point. It was the stair step.
That one was tough.
These guys died.
That one killed.
They absolutely died. So
that one was one that we were going to give to the club. Well, we did actually give to the clubs, but we decided it wasn't exactly karate specific because we don't necessarily step up onto anything. So we kind of changed that up a little bit.
So how did you come up with the exact testing criteria or the testing, whatever they had to do, the system to mimic karate? Like, is that something that you looked at or you kind of collaborated with a bunch of other people?
Yeah, so basically what we did first is we did what's called needs analysis or task analysis of the sport of karate. So what I did as part of my master's thesis research is I looked at all the current scientific literature on fitness testing for all martial arts, not just karate, to try and see what has already been done in other sports. And then from there, what we did is I don't think we did it with you guys, but we did it with a couple sets of the fitness testing. Is we strapped some heart rate monitors on some people during the tests, and then we did the same thing during some simulated performances, like some simulated kumite matches, some simulated kata matches, or kata performances, I should say. And then we just kind of looked at those, and we tried to see which tests best mimicked a response, a heart rate response for a kumite match or a kata performance.
I see.
Okay.
And then also cross-referenced it to what has already been done in other sports in terms of the scientific literature, and just kind of put together this test. The other thing we kind of drawed on too is the National Strength and Conditioning Association. I'm a member of that, and they have some pretty good places to go look and get some stuff as well. So we looked there as well.
Okay. So with different martial arts or even different sports, would the testing be completely different based on what strengths and different things you need? Or is it similar to other testings?
Yeah, that's a good question, Lauren. Well, if you look at the different kind of combat sports, you can kind of see some similarities and some differences with karate as well. So, I mean, the taekwondo and karate are quite similar in their movements. So a lot of those tests were the same. But then if you look at other combat sports like judo, well, they're a little bit different, where they require more upper body strength and a lot of grip strength and that kind of thing. So some of it was the same, but some of it was different as well. But by getting an idea of what all the combat sports are doing, it just gives us a better idea of where we can go.
You said something earlier. You said you were talking about other sports. Which martial arts, or even sports in general, would you say relate most to karate, and which would be better to have as a backup sport to kind of train extra for karate?
Okay, yeah. Well, I think a lot of people would go straight to Taekwondo because of their similar movements. Their kicking is always quite strong as well. The energy systems that you use in Taekwondo is quite similar to karate. So you see sometimes Taekwondo athletes coming to karate and their kicks are very strong. Now, Taekwondo has obviously gotten very kick dominant, so their hands sometimes aren't as good, so it takes them a little bit of time to catch up there. But Taekwondo is always a good one, and Judo is actually a really good one too, because now a lot of takedowns are being done in karate, right?
Okay.
So while the Judo takedowns are a little different than the karate takedowns, just the kind of movements and the hip movements and getting in and taking down, those definitely relate to karate as well.
Okay.
So what makes in your testing and in your research, what physical fitness components make a good karate athlete?
So basically, the fitness components that we designed, we kind of took a whole approach to all kinds of different parameters. But what seems to be the most conducive to good karate performance is lower body power, so that ability to explode from the legs. As well as you have to have a really good what's called anaerobic capacity. And you guys might remember that shuttle test you did where you guys went 10. So that test is kind of measuring how well you can explode for a certain period of time and then kind of recover, explode, recover, explode. So that particular test is becoming pretty important for karate performance as well. And one thing that we found when we did the fitness testing is we knew flexibility would be probably pretty important for karate performance as well, being able to kick the head or being able to get into the stances, but everybody had pretty good flexibility, so that was pretty surprising on that one. So.
Yeah, I think both you guys are right at the split level.
Yeah, I'm almost
in
there.
flexibility.
A lot of my friends, they say I have good flexibility, and I used to be able to, when I was like 7, I would like always show off to my best friend. I would go over to his house and I'd be like, "Hey, Caden, look, I can do the splits on the floor."
Yeah.
I think you probably still can, or you're close to it anyway.
I'm close to it, but I haven't kept that ability.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you were close. I remember.
Because my middle splits are actually weaker than my like front splits, where one leg's in front, other leg's behind.
Oh, yeah.
I can fully do those on one leg and almost on the other, but my middle splits aren't actually as good as those.
No.
So I need to work on that a bit.
Yeah. Well, you got long legs too, Lauren, so it's tough.
Yeah. So taking this test now to the national level, Karate Canada is interested in the results of it, I guess. So you're tracking it for a couple of years, or how's that process working?
Yeah, so basically what happened, Peter Davis, who's the high performance chair in Karate Canada, he's kind of been on board of this whole entire process, and he's been a really valuable resource. So basically what we're doing right now is we're starting this fitness testing and getting all this data here in BC first. And then from there, we want to branch out into the other provinces and start to get, the Ontario athletes or the Quebec athletes. And then we want to be able to get national level athletes and get, those national team members. We want to see what makes a national team member. Like what is the fitness parameter that, makes you a Pan American medalist or whatever it is. So we're working our way towards there. It's a long process. So everything's kind of starting here in BC, but we're slowly branching out, and that's coming for sure.
Yeah, and I guess it should be stated that fitness isn't everything. Like,
of course
if you don't reach these parameters, then you will never become a Pan American champion.
No,
it's a huge component of it, right?
Yeah. One thing that we say, obviously karate is a very technical and skill dominant sport. Absolutely it is. And that's the most important thing. And your karate training is the most important thing. But one kind of quote that I like to say and that we've used quite a bit is, if you have two athletes who are facing off against each other who are completely equal in skill, the one who is more fit will win. It's just kind of the way it is. Oh, and of course the ones that are more mentally tough as well. But that comes with being fit as well.
Yeah. Your body's not telling you to quit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
About fitness, I find a lot of people find it hard to keep dedicated to their fitness. Like they say they're going to take up a daily schedule, let's say, and they end up only doing like three or four times 3 or 4 of that session a week.
Yes.
Is there any recommendations you would say to help them keep motivated?
This is such a timely question, Max, too, because obviously we're getting into the December break and Christmas coming up, and everybody's training tends to sometimes trail off. But the one thing that I think, well, a couple things. One thing for sure is that you think you need to have a training schedule. So you need to work with your sensei or your coach or whoever it is. You need to try and have a set training schedule throughout that time. So on Wednesday of this week, I'm going to go train sparring, or I'm going to go train my kata, or maybe I'm going to train my fitness, or whatever it is. You need to have that schedule already laid out. And that's kind of what we tried to do on the BC team with the year-long training plans, is try and get you thinking like, okay, I need to be training at this time. On a day-to-day basis, sometimes you're not feeling it some days, sometimes, I'm not sure. One thing we always say as well is just get to the dojo, or just get to the gym. Once you get there, you start moving, things will start happening.
Yeah, that's what my mom always tells me. I'll be sometimes kind of doubting if I want to go to my baseball game, let's say, and she'll be like, Max, every time you get there, you love it. Yeah. So just go there and do it.
Yeah, I think that's the same with everybody. I know I do that myself, and I go, okay, it's my run day. I got to go for a run. I don't want to go for a run. Well, let's just start with the shoes. I'm just going to put my running shoes on. Yeah. Once you get those, okay, well, then I'll go outside. Oh, that's actually a nice day. Now I'll go for a run.
Step by step.
Just kind of get through it, right? But
for sure.
Speaking of being busy and schedules, I know these guys are busy. They go to obviously school full time. It's not like you're out of school yet, and then you got to train for your traditional karate practice, and then you have specific competition trainings, and then on top of that, you have seminars and all this other crazy stuff.
So much.
Kalan himself, I mean, he works. He said he's going to his master's degree in kinesiology as well, and he coaches and he trains and he does all this fitness testing. So scheduling. You said you need a training schedule, but you must need a life schedule as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a book where I pretty much write everything down in the week on a day-to-day basis, where I'm going to be, what I'm going to do, because, I mean, luckily at this point it's become pretty repetitive in kind of chunks and that kind of thing. So I, for the most part, know where I need to be and when I need to be there. But yeah, same thing, scheduling and just making sure that you are on it and making sure you stay on it and that you keep yourself accountable, right? I need to be here at this point. I need to do this. I need to work on my kata. I need to work on my technique, whatever it is, and just make sure that you're there. And then, like I said, just get there.
Right. Yeah. One thing I just wanted to touch on, maybe for people listening, and specifically for Max and Lauren, is when you're a kid coming up, so maybe 8 years old, 9 years old, 7 years old, 10 or 12 years old, if you're you guys, and you say, I love karate. I want to be a karate athlete. I want to be the world champion. At some of those age levels, it's not, as far as fitness and physical conditioning and physical development, you don't want to be sports specific at that age. You want to go out and you want to run. You just go run and jump and throw and do other sports and build your body physically before you turn sports specific. Is that something that you guys think about, Kalan?
Absolutely. And we look a lot at the long-term athlete development model. We have one here, obviously, for karate. But yeah, you're exactly right. And especially at that age, 8, 9, 10, we don't necessarily want you doing a lot of fitness-related stuff that puts a lot of stress on your muscles, because you're still growing a lot, right? But we do still want you to be able to handle the stress. So yeah, absolutely. And playing other sports, especially that age, fill your boots, because now we're talking about the fundamentals, right? The fundamental movement skills of all sports. So even though we don't kick a soccer ball in karate, or even though we don't catch a ball or throw a ball necessarily, you need to know how to do that, so your muscles are trained in those kind of specific movements, which do relate to karate performance down the road.
Because I know I do gymnastics once a week as well at the
Very good.
Okanagan Gymnastics Center. And that's a good muscle builder too. Helps with my balance. Helps with my flexibility. Helps with a lot of that.
Totally.
So it does fill my schedule. It doesn't mean I have to bounce a bunch of things around, sometimes skip it. But it's great because we do a lot of conditioning and muscle building in it too.
So do you think the gymnastics helps your karate performance?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I could see that, absolutely. And that's the same with a lot of different sports as well. A lot of transferability between sports that'll help it out for sure.
I kind of build up my sports, break them out across the year.
Good.
So I'm not ever having a season where I'm not doing something. So in the fall, it'll be basketball. From the winter to the spring, it'll be karate, and karate throughout the whole year, of course. And then baseball from spring through summer, it'll be baseball.
So you just cycle your secondary sports.
just keep going through, and then karate is the whole year.
So
wow, that sounds exactly like my life for about 4 years, from about 10 to 14. That was where my sports as well.
maybe you'll be on the same path. Get on that BC team and follow in Kalen's footsteps. So what's next for you? It's a busy season. It's BC team season. So you're compiling the first fitness test, and then you'll be working with the athletes on the team trainings coming up. And then there's a secondary, I believe what you're calling an end of season fitness test, and basically comparing those two results for the athletes so that they know if what they're doing is working or what's the point of the two fitness tests.
Yeah. So we did want to get that beginning of season kind of baseline levels. Obviously, this is the first time that this kind of fitness testing has been implemented, but we also want to see that the athletes are improving as well. So we have the end of season testing in February, where we're hoping, and I think it will happen, that there'll be improvements in all those kind of parameters that we kind of measured. And then this is an ongoing kind of process. So it's not just a one-off thing. So if you go for the team next year, yes, you will have to do the fitness testing again.
Suckers.
Yeah, sorry. So, and it's just going to help us get more and more data about an athlete, and especially going forward, how they develop. So we can say not just in a single season, but on a year to year to year to year basis. And then we're just going to have all this data that we're going to be able to now, again, make those kind of profiles of a provincial level athlete, a national level athlete, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's exciting for me, maybe not so much for you guys, but that are doing the test, but it's absolutely exciting. And I think it's this kind of stuff is in all major sports. They have standardized fitness testing. They already have the kind of profiles of what makes an elite athlete. So because I think maybe karate is very much rooted in tradition, and there hasn't been a lot of this stuff. We're just now starting to take those steps, but it's an exciting time for sure.
It's a very exciting time. And I think even though as much as you hate the beep test, I'm sure you can do 4 a year. That's not that big of a deal.
We've been doing that in PE class. We've done 3 beep tests already. So
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So then your next score better be darn good then.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too. People always ask, well, how do we get better at these tests? Well, just by simply doing the tests, you're going to get better at them. So
for sure.
Just practice them in your school is great. If that doesn't happen, practice in the dojo, practice on your own, whatever you need. But just keep practicing, and just instinctively you'll get better.
In school, we just finished our fitness session. So that's like a 2 to 3 week thing where just every PE class will go around doing stations with like crunches, push-ups, wall sits, things like that.
Yeah. And it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate taking the time. That's great knowledge to share with these guys and everybody on the BC team. Gives them an idea of what to expect in the future. And the goal isn't necessarily to compare those results directly to other people. You just want to be improving and improving and improving every time.
You
take that.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Rodney. Yeah, we're not looking with all this data. First of all, it's anonymous to anybody else who sees it besides the coaches. But yeah, we're not trying to compare you to another athlete, or we're not really trying to compare you to anybody else in the BC. We want to see you improve from your beginning of season testing to your end of season testing, because that's really what it's all about, right? Making those little improvements. So that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for taking the time this morning to join us. If you guys want to catch Kalan, he can be contacted through the BC team or Ken's Sports Karate in Victoria, or Karate 360 podcast. He's a busy guy. I'm sure you can find him. So yeah, I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I'm around. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. This was great.
Wonderful. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Okay, you too, guys. Take care.
Okay,
See ya.
Bye. So besides the beep test, what's the other hard ones that you guys aren't really looking forward to? I think Lauren, you didn't really like that medicine ball toss. And
I thought that wasn't too bad.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
Because it was just like you do it twice and then it's over.
Okay.
So
I thought it would have been better at the medicine ball toss, but since you're kind of like leaning back in the chair and not being able to move forward, that kind of restrains you from throwing it as far as you would be able to.
Yeah. In our practice at the dojo, we were allowed to like move
we
our
were
upper
like
body.
on our knees, and we
And
were
then
allowed to throw and like
when we got to it, it's like you're not allowed to move your back, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Well, it's really isolating, right?
Yeah.
Because you only can use your
then it's
your
just
chest
your
muscles.
arm power.
It's arms and chest, and then there goes the ball.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
So you guys will have an end of season test after the team selection tournament in January.
January?
January, right the day after the team selection tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then February's nationals. So.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Kalan. Thanks for taking the time. That concludes episode 13. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. You can reach us online at www.nextgenkarate.com.
Yeah, and our email is nextgenkarateshow@gmail.com.
Facebook, Twitter, at NextGenKarate. You can catch us on there. You can find us if you need us. Thanks, Max.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lauren.
for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, me.
Thanks, Sensei.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.